Well,
such dramatic music for a League Two preview podcast.
I know. It's yeah. We missed a week as well, by the way.
We did miss a week.
Do you want to explain where you were?
So I was in Spain.
How did that come about?
I was drunk in a Wetherspoons, and me and a few mates booked a trip to Spain. That's why last week wasn't here. So I apologise. It was selfish of me to leave you all without a podcast.
I mean, I could have done it, but I just didn't.
Charlie could have done it, yeah, but
I couldn't handle it.
It's like Ant without Deck, even though that is what happened for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, we're Ant and Deck.
We are like Ant and Deck. Hey, so is Ant and Deck. Like,
hey guys,
which one's Matt and which one's Charlie?
I know, it's because we look so similar and always stand the same way around. And we're both Geordies.
Yeah, and we're both Geordies.
We're both from Newcastle. So
what
we're gonna look at the League Two fixtures for the weekend.
That's good. That's really good.
So we've decided today that because the season's coming to a close, Charlie's still laughing. Because the season's coming to a close, there's, however much it pains me, there's no point looking at Notts County versus Forest Green, because Forest Green are already down, Notts County aren't going anywhere. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the games which have actual significance moving forward. So if you're a Tranmere fan, you're not involved. If you're an Accrington fan, you're not involved. If you're a Gillingham fan, you are involved.
So that's the kind of thing we're working with today. Sorry, I'm eating squashes. I really shouldn't be doing this. It's unprofessional.
It is unprofessional. For sake, Deck.
Can you guess who else is involved, guys?
Yeah, moving on. So we will start as we mean to go on. That's not the phrase. Start as we always do. Which is, we'll start with Bradford. You take on Newport County. You've had one hell of a turnaround. You have won, your last 4? Yep, you've won your last 4 in a row.
Won our last 4. Unbeaten in 6, I think.
You've managed to climb the table in the last 6 matches by quite some way and are now genuinely within touching distance of the playoffs. You need to win on Saturday. You need Barrow to lose and Crawley to drop points, I believe.
Yes.
Or it's Crawley to lose and Barrow to drop points.
No, Crawley can't win.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, Crawley can't win. Realistically, Barrow need to lose, but if they draw, we need to win like 7-0.
Yes.
So Barrow need to lose, really.
You need Barrow to lose and Crawley to not win, and then you're in the playoffs.
Which is very, I'm shaking.
It's
just
doable.
About it.
It's doable. It's unlikely, but it's doable.
Listen, stranger things have happened. I'm not expecting it, but it's not going to be gobsmacking if Crawley don't beat Grimsby, who are in really good form. But we can talk about that game later on. I feel like Barrow, it's weird because my part is talking about the other results. It's not really going to happen, is it? It's not, but it might.
You never know.
That's really weird given the season that we had. We were sat 19th at one point and sacked a manager because of it. We've been through 4 sort of managements, this season. We've had Mark Hughes, we've had Kev McDonald, player manager, we've had Mark Truman, who's always, I didn't even know he was still at the club. We've got, who else have we got?
Graham.
Yeah, sorry, I thought there was another interim I was forgetting. But yeah, it's weird, and it puts into perspective all the stupid losses we've had. It's really weird. It's weird because I don't think we've been good all this season. I don't think it's been a good season at all. It's really bizarre the way it's come about.
No, I think in terms of in Bradford's point of view, it's been a largely disappointing season, but you've got the chance now to kind of redeem that a little bit. I know, obviously, it's not in your hands, which is a shame. But if you get a decent win and results go your way, then getting to the playoffs, even though it has been a disappointing season in the manner you've got to the playoffs, getting to the playoffs is not a bad season.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's on paper. If we get to the playoffs, it can at minimum only be as good as last season. At minimum. You all right?
Yeah. No, I just hit my elbow on my desk.
If only I could kiss it better for you, Ant. Are you Ant or am I Deck? I don't know how it works.
I don't know.
Which one's a Bradford fan?
I don't think either of them are Bradford fans.
Bollocks.
I don't want to be either.
I don't know. I don't know how tall I am. I think I'm. Women, turn off now. I think
there are no women watching this anyway.
They're watching. They're watching. I think 5'8". I don't know. It changes all the time. Like I thought I was 5'9", and then I measured myself and I wasn't. But I didn't measure myself. Someone else measured me, so maybe they did it wrong. I don't know.
You're dead.
You're dead. Why? How tall are you? 7'8" or something?
6'3".
Are you?
No, I'm like 5'10", but still, it's more than 5'8".
All right. Oh wow. Oh. Well, anyway, there's the man flexing, but are his teams in playoffs or have a chance of getting to playoffs? No. By the way, I saw a stat of managers by points per game in their careers.
Christ.
We were fourth.
Mm-hmm.
Maynard was bottom. There were two teams below Maynard, right? And they were the ones without managers.
Looks like.
There's a fun fact. Anyway, our game. No, Newport have, I think they're the worst form in the EFL. Either the worst form or the second worst behind Barrow.
Yeah, Newport aren't really on the best run ever.
Which is weird because it felt like they were sneaking in playoffs. I remember a time when I said it'd be, what did I say? I said it'd be us, Salford or Newport, I think I said.
They've lost every game.
This is a while ago. This is really hurting my head, so I'm taking it off. Oh, in fact.
Either wear it properly or take it off, and we're not doing this.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean?
I could hit him with a...
This is horrendous listening.
I just skateboarded into it.
Carry on.
Right. As I was saying, okay. Newport have dropped off quite a bit recently. They have, around that game with United were when they hit their peak.
Yeah.
We sort of dropped off, and it's quite sad to see such a drop off. But it's for our benefit, So
yeah, true. If it wasn't for Newport's drop off, then Bradford probably wouldn't be where they are right now.
But that said, we will probably be in the same league as Newport next season anyway, so does it matter? No.
Not really.
I do think we'll win. I really do.
Yeah.
But the big question is, will we make it? My brain says no, because that's the brain's job. My heart says yes. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm
really struggling with it, if I'm honest. I think it seems poetic that you do make it.
Yeah, but don't you think every single possible result that screws someone over could happen. Like, I could see Donny going all this way and then losing. I could see Barrow dropping off last minute. I could see Grimsby getting a result when they don't need it. I could see Barrow winning. You know, it's so...
It's a really interesting final day for most clubs. Not mine.
Nope. But yeah, it's one of those, you know, where it's kind of like literally anything could happen. Anything, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, it could. There's several clubs. Well, there's Bradford, Crawley, who can both get themselves into the playoffs, and Walsall, essentially, like mathematically could, but likelihood isn't.
Yeah.
Crewe can drop out of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Doncaster can drop out of the playoffs.
The only one that's nailed on is FK Dons, isn't it?
Yes, 5th to 10th could completely change by the end of the last day, and that is really exciting.
It is. Yeah. It's scary, though. It's very scary.
It is. It's incredibly scary. Not for me. I can just sit back as a neutral and enjoy. You, however, are going to struggle.
What are we going to do if we go up? We can't go up. We can't go up without knots, because what happens to this podcast?
I don't know. Well, you're just going to have to preview some League Two games.
I'd do it for you.
Or it'll be League Two plus Bradford preview.
Isn't that sweet? I've just checked, by the way. The lowest we can move is 11th.
Mm-hmm.
Barrow can move to 10th. Crawley can move to 10th as well. Christ alive. I don't know. The table could be crazy. I mean, like you said, Doncaster in what, 5th? What are they doing there? Why are they there?
I don't know, but we'll get to Doncaster. Yeah. We'll give them the time in the spotlight.
Anyway, we'll round up Bradford talk, because it's hard to sort of discuss, because it all relies on the final day.
It does. It all goes down to the final day, and it's going to be a really interesting one. I'm looking forward to it. What is your score prediction for Bradford versus Newport?
I'm going to say a very stressful 1-0. I think we're going to win, but I think we're going to score early and not do anything for the entire game except defend. Not tactically. I just think we'll struggle.
I can see that. I think it could go another way. Maybe it won't be dramatic at all. Maybe it's just going to be like a nice easy. I'm thinking it's going to be like a 2-0 win. You'll score maybe first half, score maybe 70th, 80th minute, make it 2, and just kind of see it out. Because
have you not thought about the possibility of a loss, though?
I've thought about it. I've contemplated it, but I'm not going to indulge in such a thing. Well, I can see the pool. I can see the pool over there. And I'm thinking, yeah, it's a pool. I'm not going to go dip my toes in.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. That's another good analogy to add to our list. We could fill a book with these by the end of the season, which is Saturday.
Maybe we should.
Good bit of merch.
Yeah, the analogy book by Matt and Charlie. I mean, Ant and Deck.
Ant and Deck. Oh, yeah.
Oh, dear. Right, moving on. We'll go for one near the bottom to one near the top. We've got Colchester who take on Crewe. As we've already said, Crewe can drop out of the playoff spots. They're not safe in there yet. However, I can imagine they probably will be. 70 points is, they've been in and around it all season. I think it'd be pretty disastrous if they don't get the playoffs at the end of the season. Colchester, they need to pick up a point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they need a single point, and Sutton are going down, which, thanks to a certain Sutton fan, I'm really hoping for. I won't mention names.
Undisclosed.
I won't mention names. A tweet might be released, but I won't mention names.
Anyway.
So I'm really hoping for a Colchester win. Colchester can win or draw. Just Colchester can't lose.
Draw.
A Colchester draw would be pretty ideal for everyone involved because Crew then pretty much guaranteed playoffs.
Does it matter what Crew do? Does Crew affect anyone?
Crew can drop out of playoffs, but can't really push anybody else away.
All right.
So if Crew lose or draw and results go really against them, they can drop out. But if Crew win, then they're 100% safe.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Crew are going to do it. I think they've got this far. They've been on a poor run of form. They've lost 3 of the last 5, which isn't ideal. But they're a very strong team. Lee Bella's done a fantastic job with them.
Yeah, he really has.
It'll be pretty horrendous if they've got this far because they were in the top 3 at one point. If they've got this far, end of the season, final day, and then drop out of the playoffs, I think that'll be absolutely devastating. I'm obviously I'm not a Crew fan, but I'd be gutted for him. Colchester, if Sutton lose, then it doesn't matter. If Sutton draw, it doesn't matter. Sutton need to win and win big because there's a 4 difference in there's 4 goal swing in the goal difference. So Colchester will, if they lose, will likely lose 1-0. So Sutton would need to win by 3 goals theoretically.
Which you've got to
unless they play not, isn't going to happen.
Do you think they're not going to do that against MK Dons? Because I think MK Dons have had some kooky and crazy results.
Yeah, but MK Dons have had some absolute, corkers of results. But they're going to want. They're obviously guaranteed playoffs. They want to go into it with as much momentum as possible. They're not going to let off on the final day and think, "Oh, this is a free pass." They're going to want to go out there, win, build the confidence again. I think MK Dons are going to obliterate them, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I think Crew are going to win. I think Colchester will do what they do always and go 1-0 up, and then they're going to really try and hold on, but Crew are just going to be a little bit too strong. That's what I think is going to happen. I'm going to say it's going to be 2-1 to Crew.
Yeah, I can see that. I think I'm going to say a 1-0 to Crew. I think you were right earlier when you said it's going to be a 1-goal loss. I think it'd be 1-0. I think... no, but did Colchester really go down without a fight? Not go down, but you know what I mean? Surely they've... I'm going to say a 1-1. I'm going to say they're going to get their point.
Fingers crossed.
I'm toes.
Oh, and toes. All right. I'm in deck. So
game,
I haven't got much to add on that. Do you want to take Doncaster versus MK Dons versus Sutton on? Because I feel like I spoke for most of Colchester.
Yeah, you did actually. Yeah, sorry.
I just kind of took that one on and ran with it.
Well, I let you. Sorry, I should have. Anyway, yeah, Sutton have had quite an outrageous season. In a bad way. It was obvious very early on. It was them, Forest Green, or Tranmere. It was Tranmere early on that might have gone down.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they won the first game of the season against you.
Yep.
And yeah, I remember people being absolutely gobsmacked, but it became quite obvious after a couple of weeks. Sutton were having a very bad season. They've changed managers at least once. They might have done it twice. I'm thinking once.
Once, but I don't know off the top of my head.
I think they sacked the guy. They left it really late until they sacked the guy. I don't know who he was, but he was the one who got them here in the first place. But yeah, apart from that, I don't know. MK Dons phenomenal season. I think they were just sort of not sure what the word is. Pooped. I think they were just pooped. Is it pooped?
I think that is the scientific term. Yeah.
Is it pipped? They were like where you just someone just gets one over on you. Anyway, is it pipped?
I think so.
Anyway,
yeah, you've been pipped to the post.
Sure, whatever that means.
I think that's what
They just missed out of autos late on, I think, due to Wrexham results and a loss to to Mansfield. They were sort of on par with Mansfield for quite a bit in the late end of the season. So it's quite a fall from grace. They know that their fate is sealed, whether or not it's not like teams to sort of sit back. Maybe they don't play as good, but it's not like teams to sit back and let themselves just get thumped by what is essentially a relegation side just to sort of help them stay up. That's unfair to me.
I can't
Mike
see that.
Williamson is a god.
Yeah, we have mentioned once or twice that we are a fan.
Twice or thrice.
Twice or thrice. Thrice or twice.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Other than that, is there anything I'm missing? I think no.
I don't think so. MK Dons are staying in fourth place no matter what happens. Sutton are hopefully going down no matter what happens.
Do you think Sutton have underachieved this season, or do you think they've been overachieving in other seasons?
Because last season they did quite well, didn't they? Didn't they get like nearly playoffs last season? Like top 10?
I think they were 9th.
I think 9th. And I predicted them this season to be quite high. Well, we will have to actually do an episode where we just laugh at my horrendous predictions for the start of the season.
Oh yeah, it's coming. It's coming. We'll do it. We'll do it.
When the season ends.
Yeah, sure.
I kind of agree with you in the fact that they overachieved last season, but I feel like they've heavily underachieved this season. Like if they'd have been around lower mid-table where your Tranmere, your Morecambe, your Newport, at the minute, like sort of 14th to 18th sort of range, that's where you would have thought, okay, that makes sense. 9th is an overachievement, but second bottom is an underachievement. And to be fair, they could still end up bottom.
Yeah.
That's a huge underachievement in my eyes for Sutton this season. I think MK Dons have done well. I think they've given the most where they could rebound straight back up.
Yeah.
Into the playoffs, it's going to be difficult because if Doncaster stay there, then I think Doncaster are going to be the team to watch because you can't go on like what will be an 11-game win streak without horrendous momentum behind you.
We'll have a slight discussion about it at the end, I think, but I have a theory on this.
Okay, I'm excited.
I've seen it from other fans, not Bradford fans. I've seen it from Doncaster fans. But we'll discuss that later. I do think MK Dons have, from the get-go, seemed like they were going to go up. Getting Graham Alexander in the summer, people were like, that's a good signing. It didn't work out. He started off terribly, and they moved on, superbly and got Mike Williamson in, who's, in case you hadn't heard, sorted them out. So I think the way they've handled this season is purely, does this get us straight back up? No. Well, we'll sack him. We'll get him. Yeah, he's doing fine. And I think that's what this season is all about for MK Dons, is getting up as fast as possible. They've only just missed out on autos. Maybe if they'd have hired a different manager in the summer, maybe if they'd gone straight for Williamson, they would have been fine. Who knows? It's a strange one. It is a strange one, but I think their season's been a success overall. And I think Sutton's has... I'm going to call it a failure. There's nothing successful about going down, is there?
No, not at all.
Not gone down yet.
Well, true. With that in mind, what are your score predictions? I'm going to go for a 3-1 MK Dons. He pondered.
I'm going to say... Me scratching my head. Anyway, we need to stop. I need to stop with the little silent sections because the listeners just won't know what's going on. Anyway, as I was saying, I think it's going to be... You say 3-1 because I don't want to copy you.
I'm going to go 3-1 MK Dons.
I'm going to say 2-1 MK Dons. 2-0 for ages and then a late consolation goal.
Yeah, consolation. The last goal in Sutton's EFL tenure ever.
We'll never score another. Well, they will never. But you dare come back. Yeah.
Right. So the next game that we've got written down is Doncaster versus Gillingham. Now, Gillingham have nothing to play for. They could win 30-0 and would still fall short of the playoffs, which is a shame because they were doing well at the start of the season. But hey, so we're not, and look where we are. Life moves on, sadly. Doncaster, however, are... What was that?
Just me laughing at you for being low down table. You reacted to that quite late, though. I don't know why. That scared me.
Doncaster, however, are the talk of every football media person at the moment because they've gone on a 10-game win streak. Everyone and their dogs is making a video about it, talking about how well Doncaster have done, and it's like we've been saying how crap they are from the start, so we should get the plaudits.
Mm-hmm.
We've been me and Charlie here. We're the originals slagging.
We made it happen.
We did. We did. It was around 10 games ago, I believe, when we started slagging off Doncaster. Letting them know how badly Grant McCann had done so far.
It was around 10 games ago.
I think it really was about that time. We're going to have to go back and have a look. It was about that time. And since then, we jinxed them in the best way possible for Doncaster fans. So, Charles, this one's for you. And they've gone on a 10-game win streak, which is absolutely ridiculous.
There's like nothing negative to say anymore.
I really can't.
I think you can say we can't make fun of them at all. Nothing funny about it anymore.
It
Not
was
even
only,
like there's nothing.
What was it, 2 or 3 game weeks ago when I don't know if it was the last time we did this podcast or the time before, but when we said, "Oh, there's a chance we're going to get McCann," and they were like about to overtake Notts and Bradford, and
now
they've
they're
absolutely thrashed us out of the park.
I mean, it says a lot about like the integrity of the league, don't you think? Like, do you not think that like a team from their position is now where they are?
I think it's great. I wish it was Notts, and I wish it wasn't Doncaster.
It makes the league look bad. It
Do
really does. Yeah, I don't
think it does. I think the opposite.
Think about what you're doing.
Yeah, lose because you're making us look bad.
You're just making everyone else here look stupid, and it's not funny.
I think it's not very often I'll disagree with you, Charlie, but I disagree with you there. I think if anything, it makes our league look much more exciting because it shows that if you can put a win streak together, it doesn't matter where you are, but you can then go and compete. If you do well enough, if you've had a bad start to the season and then do a really, really good like last quarter, you can still go and be playoff chasing. I think that's quite exciting.
I didn't mean it like that. I meant it as in like the quality of the league. I'd say is a lot worse than it was, and that's not putting Doncaster down, but the fact a team can be 20th, 19th one week, and then just end up. Like I get they've won 10 on the bounce, and that's 100% on them. I'm not having a go at them for it. I'm not saying they don't deserve it. I'm just saying, don't you think it's insane that ever happened?
I suppose I get what you mean. Like it's insane that because over those 10 games they have played the likes of Stockport, Mansfield, Wrexham, MK Dons, Crewe.
Yeah,
teams at the very top of the table, and then they've gone and beat them from a position of like 20th, which I understand what you're saying in terms of like the quality of the league. Like, let's have a quick look because they beat Wrexham not too long ago. That was about it really. They beat Crawley 2-0. That's quite a big one. Walsall, Barrow. Teams who have been challenging top end of the table for the playoffs, for the automatics, they have beaten. I don't know. I think maybe it's just Doncaster is showing what they've got now a little bit, and that something's clearly clicked, which is ridiculous.
Okay, so here's a question, right? A lot of Doncaster fans said that you could see the performances, you could see them, but they just weren't doing anything with them. And then a lot of them are now saying that the January recruitment's what fixed it. So my question for you is, if they have this team at the start of the season, do they win the league? Or do you think it's a mixture of sort of the adrenaline and the sort of lack of pressure and you know what I mean?
I don't think this team wins the league if it
Why?
started like this. I think the last 10 games, admittedly, obviously, it's been built on a lot of momentum, but Doncaster were never ever going to just walk this league. I think the January recruitment has helped massively, and you can see that, you know, unequivocally, you can see that that's helped a lot. But I don't think the likes of Stockport, Mansfield, and Wrexham would have just been blown out the water with this Doncaster team, because this Doncaster team, despite of like all the plaudits, they've gone on an absolutely superb run. Like one that most you can't remember that. I can't remember the last time a team went on such a ridiculous run and have climbed the table so impressively. So all the plaudits to Doncaster.
Oh yeah, well done. Well done to the fans for sticking up with us, by the way.
Oh yeah, fair play. Because if I was Doncaster fan, I'd have sacked Grant McCann. To be in 20th and then go on such a run, I think you're right in the terms of the adrenaline that got mixed into it and the like momentum and belief that it's like, oh my god, we can actually do this, which I think wouldn't have been there if it was just there from the start. I don't think it's really
weird.
different. But then the likes of Wrexham, Stockport, Mansfield, MK, they would have kept up with Doncaster.
Do you think teams like Stockport and Mansfield would have?
What was the run Stockport went on? It was like 26 unbeaten or something like that.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't that long.
No, it was a win streak. I think it was
a stupid win streak.
And then I think Doncaster kept the longest unbeaten streak, maybe until now.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Stockport went on that tremendous run where nobody could beat them at the very least, and look how the tables panned out. Like they yes, they are rightfully champions, but there's not a huge gap between them and Mansfield and Wrexham. And I don't think Doncaster would have been able to put that gap there. So no, I'm not going to say they would have won the league. I think they would have been, up there in terms of top 5 like they are now. Maybe much more secure. Maybe even pushing for second or third. But I don't think Doncaster would have won the league with this team now.
Okay.
I just think the teams at the top are too strong.
Okay.
So, what do you think?
Would they won the league?
Yeah, would they win the league with this team if this is how they started?
I think so. I really do. I think they would have most certainly got autos. I think the last 10 games from Doncaster, maybe it's just the fact that they've won again, or they might have been shit in all these games, but they've won them all. You know what I mean? But
then it's the result that matters. It's the result that matters.
Yeah, the way I see it is, I don't ever remember thinking this about Wrexham, or or even Mansfield, or even Stockport. Stockport were good, and they went on their run. But for me, maybe it's because it's the business end of the season.
Yeah, maybe.
And it's a bit more of a shock. But to me, it's just kind of like bam, 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 and it's like, oh, Doncaster have won again. That's the thing that sort of shocks me.
Yeah, no, I get you. Shall we give us a score prediction then, Charlie?
Who are they playing again?
Gillingham.
3-0 to Donny.
3-0 Donny?
3-0.
I think it's going to be 2-1.
To Donny?
Yeah, to Donny. I think it's going to be very close, though.
You think they'll win 11 in a row?
I think they'll win 11 in a row.
and then it could potentially be 40 as well, couldn't it, Bill?
Could be. Okay, and I think we need to have a little ad break here.
We do.
And it's live.
Hi,
And by
guys.
that, I mean, we're back.
We are.
Hope you enjoyed your little advertisement break. You got an extra 5 minutes of Matt and Charlie there. Lucky devils.
You cheeky minxes, the lot of you. Sorry.
You know, that reminds me. I went to see Take That not too long ago. This
Did
isn't
you?
football related in the slightest. I went to see Take That at Sheffield. I was on the opening night. Absolutely fantastic. It's just you've reminded me when you said that a second ago. And you know these the big meme about him, which is like, this is my idea of a very lovely day out.
Yep, I know it. Yeah, mate. It's like you were there.
Everywhere. It's like I'm Gary Barlow. I just pay tax. Sorry.
That's one for all the mums out there. Right.
I'm going to end up saying something on this podcast at some point that's going to get us in some real trouble. I fear that was just it.
You get sued.
Sorry, Gary. And yeah, he started the show with him saying that and then calling everyone cheeky gits. And I thought that was quite amusing that he'd like leaned into, steered into the skid, I think is the phrase.
Did you have some good seats / stands?
No, the seats were all right. I could see everything, which was nice. I was with my mum and my auntie. Had a great time, just belting Shine and the Flood and Greatest Day. Oh, unreal. You know what as well?
Good for you.
Sorry, again, completely going off topic. Ollie Murs was the support act, and he was phenomenal.
Was he?
He was the warm up act, fandom, but he was so good. It was a very good warm up.
You're such a big star to me. Everything I want to be, but you're stuck in a hole.
In a hole.
And I want you to get out.
No, we'll stop now before we get copyright claimed.
What?
Crawley Town versus Grimsby.
No.
So Crawley.
I already know the score for this.
Okay.
But
Crawley Town. For Bradford's sake, for Charlie's sake, and sanity, Crawley need to drop points to Grimsby Town in order to give Bradford a fighting chance of the playoff positions. They currently sit in 8th place, 1 point behind Barrow in 7th. And they play Grimsby. Grimsby are now safe, so Grimsby, you won't really be mentioned much here because whatever happens, Grimsby will stay up. Crawley have been in and around the playoffs for absolutely ages, and I thought they had 7th place nailed on. They've obviously just dropped out of the playoff positions and are sat in 8th place now. They've drawn their last 2, lost the 2 before that. They are in desperate need of a win, especially if they're going to get into the playoff positions. They want a bit of momentum behind them. Obviously, Crawley tomorrow, this is kind of like a must-win game because if they draw and Barrow don't lose by more than 2 goals and Bradford don't win, they won't be in the playoffs.
Then who ends up in the playoffs?
So, what situation are you giving me?
The one you've just said.
So if Crawley draw,
if Crawley don't win, Barrow lose.
If Crawley don't win,
we lose. Just say we lose.
Then it stays the same.
Exactly the same.
Then Barrow will go into the playoffs in 7th on 68 points and a +6 goal difference. Crawley will go in to 8th place and not in the playoffs on 68 points and a +4 goal difference. And Bradford, you will stay on 66 points if you lose. Oh, it's very tight.
Where's me at?
Don't get the hat on again. The lights come on.
So if you're listening, guys, and you just heard a little switch flick, if you heard that, Matthew's just turned his lamp on. That's not a euphemism.
Ollie, come on now. We are grown men. Yeah, kind of.
I'm I'm a man legally, so
Yeah, but you haven't grown yet, as we've already discovered today.
all right, mate, all right.
God, that was good.
What do you think, Scott?
What do you think about Crawley?
Shit. In as a team, as an institution, as a season that they've had,
As a creepy, even.
as a creepy Crawley,
As a creepy
Crawley myself. Crawley have done really good. I think that the credit all goes to Scott Lindsay,
Yes.
which is a man's name and a lady's name. And
what relevance did that have to anything?
I
don't think I can speak. I've just gone on about Gary Barlow for a few minutes. Please carry on.
Yeah, mate. Crawley have done really well. I think Scott Lindsay's played a massive part in it. He's the one who saved them from relegation last season. And it sort of feels like at this point that, no matter what happens on Saturday, they have had a fucking amazing season.
Oh, they've had a blinder.
Yeah. Other than that, Danilo Orsi's a good player, really good player. He always scores against us. What else? They lost Telford. I thought that were going to be a big blow for Crawley. They lost Telford to Barrow. And this was when Crawley were sort of flying at the start of the season. I thought, they've lost Telford. To be honest, I didn't pay much attention. I don't know how important Telford was in those games. But I thought they've lost Telford. They're in trouble. And, well, clearly not,
Clearly not. Here they are.
Clearly not. Other than that, I don't think there's anything to say about this season. I don't think they'll go up regardless. I really think... I think out of all the teams that have been... that are getting mentioned in this discussion, I think Crewe are the second least likely to go up. Not Crewe, Crawley, sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I think out of all the teams. I think right now it's Doncaster.
Yeah.
But like I said, we can have a proper natter about this at the end once everyone's out of the way.
We can. And yeah, like we said, we're not really going to mention Grimsby because you have nothing to play for. What are your Oh, sorry.
But there was a but in. They have like something really stupid to play for. I think I could be wrong. Ignore me. They have nothing to play for, and my score prediction is 1-1.
Ooh, okay.
That is like genuinely what I think will happen. Not like I genuinely 100% think Grimsby are the sort of team will turn up now.
Just because
they're in really good form. Well, not really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're in good form for them. Crawley are in bad form. You would expect Crawley to beat it, but I genuinely just have a feeling.
Okay. I'm going to rebuttal that one. I'm going to say Crawley are going to win 2-0.
We can't win. If they win, then we don't get playoffs.
I'm manifesting a loss for them.
Okay, a loss.
For you. Lost. A losed. Mm-hmm. But I really do think they're going to win it.
Okay.
On to our penultimate game, of which things can be changing, is Barrow versus Mansfield. Mansfield, again, won't really touch on them because they have nothing to play for apart from the pride of second place instead of third. Either way.
But it's Wrexham that they're trying to go for. Do you know what I mean? Do you think they'll have an issue with Wrexham pipping them to second or not?
I mean, I don't think they'd like it, but I don't think it's going to be one of them that's like, we need to win this game. Otherwise, Wrexham are going to come second and we're going to come third. Because realistically, it's the same thing anyway. They're both going up.
If they don't win, then Bradford can't get playoffs. So,
yeah, very good point.
What's the fucking point? They can't beat us 5-1, not Barrow 5-1. What is the point?
Yeah, well, I mean, they might do. Barrow haven't won a game in their last 5 at least. They've lost 4 of them, including losing very recently to Bradford City.
Yeah, well, it's nothing, guys. It's nothing. It's just what we do.
Is it though? It is now. Wasn't for.
Listen, that game got called off about 28 times. There's no way I would have accepted a loss or a point. I'm not being funny. You have to win that game.
Yeah, no, you do, and you
did.
did.
Sorry. This is about Barrow and Mansfield.
Yeah, this isn't the Bradford show. For sake, can never get the staff.
Just a little grimace from me.
Barrow, I think they are going to draw to Mansfield because Mansfield don't have, like I've said, they don't really have a lot to play for. Barrow need a result in order to guarantee playoffs. If they win, they've guaranteed playoffs. If they draw, they haven't. But it's going to be a bit tetchy if they draw. I like to think I've gained quite an extensive knowledge of Mansfield and therefore Nigel Clough, considering where I work sometimes. And I don't think Nigel Clough is going to be one of these who's like, it's the end of the season, go easy. He's going to want to go out on a bang. He's going to want to go out with 5 wins in the bank on the trot. He's not going to. He would be fuming if he comes off on Saturday with a loss because his players haven't tried hard enough. He would be absolutely livid, and I think that's just kind of the manager that he is. And for that case, Mansfield are just going to go about this like it's a normal game. And if Mansfield go about it like it's a normal game, it's Mansfield Town. They're a very good side.
Yeah.
Barrow are in terrible form, like we've just said. Last time they got a win was on the 29th of March, and they've had 6 games since then. Not great form at all, especially since they're trying to get into the playoffs. And if they do get into the playoffs, they're going to really struggle because they're going to need to book up their ideas.
Yeah, 100%.
Charlie, thoughts?
Yeah, you sort of went on there, you dickhead.
Sorry.
I don't know. I kind of think I agree with what you said about Clough. I sort of think he wants this. He wants to show he wants professionalism.
Yes, exactly.
He's not going to sit there and go, all right, well, it's fine. We've already done it. I can't see it from him. Especially the way Mansfield play, they look militarily trained.
They do
some sort of footballing regime. They are easily the best team I've seen all season. Easily. I want there.
Sorry, can I make a point?
Yes, sure.
Everton have just scored. It's 1-0.
Have they?
At the time of videoing and recording this, it is in fact the Merseyside derby, and Jared Branthwaite has just made it 1-0 to Everton. Okay, we can carry on with our League Two stuff now. But yeah, I think we're both kind of in the same boat that we think Mansfield are just going to go about this and they're going to want to win, even though it doesn't mean anything for them. That's going to be a real issue on Barrow because Barrow are useless at the moment and can't get a win against the worst teams like Bradford. Actually, they did lose to Swindon as well. That is poor.
And we never it's just a sort of game we won't win. A trip up to a game in hand that should have been played about a month ago on a shit little Tuesday night in fucking Barrow. That is not the sort of game that we win. We win like cushy little games, Oh, you're travelling half a mile to top of the league. Sure, here's a win. You know what I mean? You what?
Sorry, I was just agreeing with you. Sorry, Charlie.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, I'm just going to remove Matt. It'll be me for the rest of the podcast. I've lost my train of thought because you upset me. You really upset me.
Sorry, that was never my intention.
I think I distracted myself talking about City again, to be honest. Barrow, I really feel like it's just a characteristic of this Pete Wild Barrow side that they're just going to come short. I feel like once you start to drop off, and sort of the longer it goes on, the more and more convincing it is. I don't know. I think from my perspective, it's the result that worries me the most. I don't know why. I'm much more confident that Grimsby can get a point than Barrow not beating already promoted Mansfield. Because I think if Barrow win, that's it. We're done.
Yeah. Yeah, if Barrow win, then they get playoffs.
No matter what anyone else does.
No matter what anybody else does.
They're just in. All right. So they've got their season to play for.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
They do have a fair bit on the line.
You what? Sorry.
They do have a fair bit on the line.
Yeah, they do. They really do. Especially after how they started the season. You know, it would be a massive shame to go from 3rd to 8th or whatever. In the time that Doncaster have gone from 20th to 5th, which is outrageous.
It would be.
In terms of results, I'm going to say 2-0 to Mansfield. I'm going to say quite a triumphant 2-0 to Mansfield. I think they're really going to make sure that everyone knows what they've just done.
Yeah, they're going to go up fighting and be like, look, we're not someone who's just going to, prat around in League One.
Yeah.
To play.
I think it'd be a massive statement for Mansfield to win this and sort of say to Barrow, Barrow, everyone who plays a promoted team on last day of the season thinks, get in. It doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's the exact sort of thing that it'd be like, if I were Clough, I'd be saying, right, you fucking go in there and you show them. You know.
You show we've got bite and we don't care who we play, we're going to beat them anyway.
We've deserved this promotion. That's what I'm thinking. And because it's Mansfield, they've waited so long for it. This promotion means so much to them. I can just see them doing it. That's the bottom line for me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'll echo you in everything you've just said. I think Mansfield are going to get the win. I think Nigel Clough won't accept anything less than a win, really, especially when Barrow are on such poor form. So I'm going to say 2-0 seems solid though, but I don't want to copy you. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win instead.
Wow, that would be good.
Yeah, it would.
In my predictions, we make playoffs. In yours, that are unbiased, we don't.
Yes, although I do kind of want Bradford to make playoffs.
I want to make playoffs, but obviously I want to go up, but I don't think we're ready to.
I think you'd struggle if you went up, if I'm honest.
That's
we
what
can get to that in a second because we have one more game, which is coming as like a wild card game, which is Walsall versus AFC Wimbledon.
Oh yeah,
because
this was very easy to discuss.
Wimbledon are out the race completely, so we don't need to discuss them. Walsall, however, can mathematically get into the playoffs. If Barrow lose, Crawley lose, and Bradford lose, Walsall win and turn over a goal difference of 6, they can get into the playoffs. It's incredibly unlikely to happen, but as we've said earlier on in the podcast, stranger things have happened, like Leicester winning the league once. That was random.
Netflix.
What?
Netflix.
What do you mean, Netflix?
Stranger Things.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's terrible. But yeah, Walsall, they need to win and win like convincingly, and 3 other results go their way, which is all, incredibly unlikely. But Walsall can make playoffs. I don't think they will. I think it's going to be a bit of a boring game between them and Wimbledon. Do you have anything else to say on the matter?
No, that's it. I mean, for context, you sent a list over and said these are the games we can talk about, and he didn't have the Walsall game on. So Walsall fans, I said, no, if they win and results go right and they win by quite a considerable margin, then they'll be very lucky, happy. No, very happy chappies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be a. Let's just go with a 1-1. I think it'll be a 1-1. Bit of a
Yeah.
boring game. I don't
Yeah.
think Walsall are really fighting for it. If I'm honest,
I'm going to say 5-0 to Walsall. So close, guys. So close.
nearly there. And that rounds us off for the final preview podcast of this League Two season. We've done a fair few of these, haven't we? Really?
Yeah, we have. Shall we do a weird one for playoffs? We'll try come back for playoffs, but there's stuff in talks, isn't there?
There's stuff in the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
So for playoffs, previewing the playoffs. Just quickly before we sign off for this season, previewing the playoffs. Let's just go with it as in who's in it now. So Dons, Doncaster, Crewe, and Barrow, because that's all we can go off. Let's say it stays like that on Saturday, and that's how it ends. Who's going up?
Okay, so for me, is it MK Dons versus who's seventh?
Barrow.
Yeah, so I think MK Dons beat Barrow over 2 legs comfortably.
I think so. I agree with you.
I think Doncaster beat Crewe comfortably over 2 legs.
I don't think it would be. I disagree.
Okay.
I think Doncaster will win, but I think we're anything but comfortable. Crewe will put a one hell of a fight. I can see it maybe been a 1-goal margin over 2 legs. I don't think Doncaster will batter Crewe. Crewe have done really well this season, and they're not going to want to leave with nothing to show for it. I think they're going to do everything they can, and for that, I think, like you, I think Doncaster will go through to the final. But
do you think they'll win the final? I think they beat MK Dons. I really do. Or do you think it's one of those things where they make it that far, but they just simply can't rise to the occasion?
Is it the rise to the occasion? Is it the quality of MK Dons? But then also they've got the experience of Grant McCann at the helm, who has turned out to be a good manager. Who'd have thought?
Who knew?
Who knew? But then Doncaster have an incredibly young side, which I don't know how much that will play into it. But obviously, like the young side, probably more inexperienced, less likely to have played in big matches with big prizes. Mm-hmm. Maybe the occasion gets the head a little bit. MK Dons, however, of the other sort of side of the stick, and they've got an inexperienced manager who hasn't played in a game like this before. Gateshead never, obviously, got promoted from the National League North to the National League. Mm-hmm. But Gateshead, despite challenging for playoffs, I don't really know what's going on with Gateshead at the minute. Despite being in the playoff positions now, he hasn't got them there. He helped massively, laid the foundations, but he's left. Mm-hmm. Hasn't really played in a huge game with Gateshead, because I believe they won the title before coming up to the National League a couple of seasons back. So in that sense, he's an inexperienced head at the helm of MK Dons in such a big game. I think the quality of MK Dons will beat Doncaster, but it will be a close again. Okay. I just think it'll be close.
Okay. I don't know. I really don't know. I think as it stands, Doncaster win them. Depending on what changes, I think no matter what, Doncaster win. Because here's the thing. What I read on Twitter from a Doncaster fan was, I think we do anyone in playoffs unless Bradford make it. And I agree. I think everyone in the playoffs should be scared of Donny. I'd be scared of Donny. I think the only team Donny would worry about is us. I really do. I think we're the only team who could just sort of manage to just turn up against Donny. Whereas the sides like Crawley, I think if we ended up playing Crawley, I can't be bothered working out who we'd end up playing. I don't think we'd beat Crawley. I think we'd beat Barrow. I don't think we'd beat Crewe. Well, I think maybe, I don't know. I think we'd beat MK Dons. I don't know. I don't know. I thought I'd share that. I think we'd have a better chance at beating Doncaster than anyone else. But that's not to say that we deserve playoffs. I think even if we make playoffs, we don't deserve them. But yeah. What do you think, Notts? Any prospects for Notts? Get a new gaffer in summer, maybe?
I think Maynard will stay. I think the board will back him, and I think we'll do mediocre next year.
Do you not have faith in him?
It's starting to grow. We've had a few decent results recently. It's definitely starting to grow on me. I would never say he's a bad manager because I don't think that's fair considering the time he's had. I think performance-wise, it's been good, but we're going to need a bit of a rebuild over the summer. If we can keep hold of key players like your Langstaffs, like your Jones, like your Crowley, like your Matt Palmer, if we can keep hold of those sort of players, then next season we will be in with a fighting chance of going up, I think, or at least playoffs. But we need a major rebuild at the back. We need to sort out defensively what we're doing, and we need to sort out the goalkeeper situation. And I don't know how much swing Maynard will have in all of that because recruitment, as has been quite openly stated, doesn't go through the coach. Nice banner. Doesn't go through the manager. But I think with a bit more time and his own players, he can kind of pick who he wants as captain. If it's going to stay Carl Cameron, if it's going to move on, I'm not sure. It's all up in the air. I think next season is another like rebirth into League Two sort of thing for Notts.
Do you think?
That's how I see it. It's like
it is really because you didn't do anything this season.
No,
that's not even meant to be a joke. You literally nothing's really changed for you this season.
Yeah, no, we haven't lost any. Well, we lost Ruben, but that was fair to Oxford, and he was out of contract, and I don't think anybody disputes him from doing something like that. Yeah, we kind of have a very similar squad to what we had last season, and I think loyalty is a good thing in football, but it's proven this season that we needed to be a bit more ruthless with that. And I think we won't make them mistakes twice. That's my thoughts.
Fair enough. And then anything to say on the closing, I guess, because this is potentially the final time we come in your ears. So any closing statements?
I don't think this will be the last time we come in people's ears.
Let's hope not.
I think we'll be coming in people's ears next season as well.
Yeah, hopefully. So if you just make sure you remember this feeling because it might be the last time you ever feel us coming in your ears. Other than that, anything?
We will look to get an episode out where we laugh at my horrendous predictions at the start and kind of review the season with the review team, but that's a bit up in the air. So we'll figure that one out as we go. But I'm sure this won't be the last you hear of myself and Charlie.
Oh, yeah, we forgot about your predictions. I feel bad now.
No, it's okay. We'll go through them at some point.
We'll do it. We'll do it at some point.
But I think the only thing left to say is thank you for listening or watching. If you would like to leave a comment telling us how bad we are or how good we are, that would be unreal. If you wouldn't mind leaving us a 5-star rating on any streaming platforms, that would also be fantastic. And I hope your team's done well, unless you're Sutton, and have a good rest of have a good playoffs if you're playing in them, and best of luck for your club's future.
Yes. Take care, guys. And we'll maybe, if you're unlucky, see you next season. Bye-bye, guys.